Before we get started, I wanted to address something about my thumbnail art. I altered the background so as to make it more visually pleasing to look at. It was originally a plain white background, but I found it to be a bit dull to look at, so I simply added the Toy Story background you see now. This is the original, and was created by Natsu Dragon, or at least that's the only source I could find to get the image. If anyone knows the actual source, I'll put it in the description below. Other than that, I think we can get on to my old reliable ass gushing over the best character in Kingdom Hearts, who I would literally murder someone for. Okay? Get okay. Roll it! Something I never really understood was when people would talk about Sora, they would say he's generic or boring to follow. And to a point I can see that is if you don't think about it for longer than half a second. But in actuality, he's probably the best written character in a game I've seen in years. The idea going into Kingdom Hearts is that it was written for children, so the main character was designed that way. Just a simple kid. And that's great. It doesn't have to have that deep of a character because the story isn't about Sora in half the time. It focuses on the Disney World you're in, or the Organization 13 plot, or something that isn't Sora himself. And it's more about how he interacts with those things he comes across than anything else. If anything, the only two games that directly focus on what Sora wants is Dream Drop Distance and the original Kingdom Hearts. For all you naysayers in the back saying coded and chain memories are counted, they aren't, because fuck you. So he can be afforded to be a bit generic, and what he does have is fine. He's happy, helpful, and positive, and because of that, the stakes of the story can get higher if something happens to Sora. Sora benefits from what I like to call the tone breaker effect. Let me explain. Almost every story has a way of keeping the tone from getting darker, either by having comic relief or an upbeat character. Sometimes this works, sometimes this does not. But in Kingdom Hearts, Sora does this a lot by simply being Sora.
Whisper runs on happy faces.
Happy?
That's one funny face.
And telling other characters to get over their shit, or just saying it'll be okay and helping them get to that point. To contrast, look at, say, Riku's story from any of the games. He never smiles, he never jokes, and everything has to do with the fact that in the first game, he did a bad for maybe 3 hours when he was overtaken by Ansem. His Shit in Memory story, his subplot in Kingdom Hearts 2, and Dream Drop Distance all deal with it in some way. Hell, even Coded touched on it. Come to think of it, so did 0.2 Birth by Sleep now that I give it a thought. And that not only gets boring, but it still is a conflict to drive him. Because Ansem and his goals in the first game were dealt with, and no one besides maybe Sora and the gang suffered. And the only quote-unquote bad thing that happened to them was that they had to spend time in a lackluster sequel. Oh, the horror! I use these two as a contrast because they are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Sora is happy and carefree, whereas Riku is just a stick in the mud, with granted more character flaws, but not overall that fun to follow, because he's always moping and doping around about the one time he fucked up. Now, I've played almost every game in the series at this point. I've even watched the other two, and I love all of them. Even Chain of Memories. And it's due to Sora being Sora. But you know what's more important than Sora in this case? The story. Every game has a story that grabs me for whatever reason. The first game had more to do with Disney World, and I liked that. Simple setup for Sora, Donald, and Goofy to go out into the other movies and take action in the story, so as to try to find their friends. It's just fun and well executed. Then with Chain of Memories, it got annoying because no one played it at first, so everyone was confused, and the plot of Chain of Memories is just a bunch of nothing. Fun nothing, but still nothing. It boils down to the organization needing Sora's memories to take his heart and have him be a Keyblade wielder for them. That's it. Again, it's fun, but even I was sitting there annoyed at its pointlessness. And I'm a positive-ass person. 358 over 2 days is getting its own video, but again, it's pointless in terms of the story. Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best, because it has a good mix of the whole Disney crossover and organization stuff. Birth by Sleep is its own thing that plays in later, which is also great. Dream Drop Distance is where my whole issue comes in, and where the title of this video comes from. It's the story of how the game just kind of bullshits Sora. The entire point of the story is to have Sora and Riku become Keyblade Masters. The game makes Sora seem like a little kid running around not having a clue what he's doing. I can see why he is. I mean, it is all a tad confusing, but Sora is a smart person and should be able to figure all this out. That's all well and good, but the fact that Sora had to go through this game at all is my problem. Riku I can get, he hasn't done much. But Sora sealed the keyholes of 32 worlds. Yes, some of them are repeats from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but still, sealed them twice, so I'm counting it. And that's not even counting the 7 from this game. He also stopped every member of the organization and stopped the universe from being swallowed whole. And Yen Sid's still like, nope, you gotta do it 7 more times and make sure you don't fall to darkness while you're in your medically induced coma, or you're gonna fail. Fuck you, Yen Sid. said, nobody likes you. That's not only stupid, that's just a waste of fucking time. While Riku does this, why not send Sora off to Hercules for a bit? Have him go early, train, get some muscle mass, and maybe rest up for his journey. Sora has done so much over the course of these games that, to him, must feel like a month tops. Yes, he's grown up a year or so since the games started, but he was asleep for a whole year, so he's just been gone for less than a month from his perspective. Not to mention the fact he saved countless people from the heartless and nobodies and even woke up entire worlds. So I say, fuck you, good wizard, and give Sora the title and let him kick all the ass already. Hashtag Master Key Sora. You know something though? For all my bitching a second ago, I can actually see why the game developers made the story this way and why Sora isn't master yet. To me, the only reason he's in this game at all is because they couldn't write him out entirely without it A, sounding stupid, and B, pissing off everyone to the point that they didn't play Dream Drop Distance. Sora's story is pretty useless because the goal is voided due to the fact that Yensid is an ass and we need to set up for Kingdom Hearts 3. If nothing else, I think it would have been smarter to have the main characters be Riku and have Lee be a side story. Have Lee do the Mark of Mastery exam and show him what it takes to be a Keyblade Master, or hell, make the game about Lee and Kairi going through this. That way we knock out two character stories at the same time, and it gives the fans a chance to see two fan favorite characters in the limelight for once rather than just being shunted to the side. Think about it, you could have Lee's starting place be the world that never was and Kairi's be Destiny Island. Have them wake those worlds from sleep, shows them where they came from and what they need to sacrifice to get back there. Then have them go through the rest of the worlds. The only thing is they meet up in the middle rather than starting up at the same place and continuing that way. That way you don't have to explain why there are two versions of each world and why they'd never interact aside from that one time in the middle of the story. That way the game has a reason for us to care if our main characters complete the task at hand, because unlike both Sora and Riku, we don't know what these two are capable of. We know what Axel's capable of, but not Lee. He's a different person with different abilities. Yes, the only difference between them physically is some purple eyeshadow, but still we're never shown his true abilities. I'm using this as a way to say that Sora is a great character that doesn't need to change much, if at all, and that the writers need to make new internal conflicts for Riku. If they want a great story out of filler games, go the Birth by Sleep route. Make a story that is self-contained and isn't really necessary to understand who or what is going on. Everybody loves Birth by Sleep for its story, its multiple characters, interconnected storylines, so try that formula again, but, you know, don't put on the next fucking handheld device that comes out of the ether. Again! I guess this is a really long-winded way of me saying I love Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I love Sora from Kingdom Hearts. My name is Chris, and look at that good boy!